Hey guys, it's Kusi. Welcome back to episode 7, which is the extra edition of the series in which we attempt to go above and beyond to finally achieve something my high school crush will be jealous over. In this 0 to rank 1 Fire Mage edition. In the last episode we finally achieved what we were destined to become. The keystone hero we all deserved, with all portals to future usage, and just because that ain't enough for your boy, I raised the bar slightly higher. Now, for context, because last episode was the actual end of the series and this is just an additional video, just for you, the rules are gone. Everything goes, and this mainly goes towards the puck rule. I did join our community guild and therefore, we do a few guild keys every now and then. But don't worry, this is not a full stack party of rank 1 meta spec enjoyers, quite the opposite. This is the setup we ran for the most part. Mistweaver, which is in the middle of the pack and therefore the closest thing to meta you could ask for, a Fury Warrior, and double Fire Mage.
What is this? For what? Why?
Though Eluria often whipped out the Frost for funsies instead. Hell, we don't even have a CR, so don't even give me any kind of side eye here. With that being said, at this point in time I only did 2+12 keys, one failed, one timed, neither of which on the mage, so for me personally, it was all about getting a feel for it, cause we will learn very quick that +12s actually hurt. But what is changing? Well, first and foremost, the seasonal affix is gone. No more bargains, and instead, you got a simple extra combination of Fortified and Tyrannical on top called Zalatat's Guile. This just increases HP and damage done by everything. This means you play the dungeon and only the dungeon instead of some wonky affix that could mess you up in bad situations. But because the scaling is tougher, the rating gain is also slightly higher, and with all of that context out of the way, we are going to quickly check again how much score I am missing in order to achieve rank 1. Oh yeah, before you guys go crazy, I'm talking about rank 1 on this empty ass realm, where I was considered rank 1 Fire Mage after clapping the goal of 2100. But you know what they say, once a rank 1, always a rank 1.
Okay.
So without any further ado, make sure to like and subscribe because this whole expedition started a lot worse than I imagined. Oh, and also, because one of my most loyal viewers actually saved up 100,000 channel points to pick the spec for the first 0 to hero in season 2, that decision has already been secured. Now it's up to you, which one will it be? Here's a hint, it's a tank we haven't played yet. If you know from the stream, don't say anything. Alright, so after a couple of warm-up keys, we started off the chase for the top with an easy one. Mist's 12. Without the mentioned Mistweaver, since he wasn't there yet, so instead we had Ziba from the chat step in. Tank is a Puggy. This run was a trip and a half for me. I went into Discord with them boys, but because all of them spoke German, it felt weird to speak English, so I heard them talk, but you don't. Which means I had to pay attention to comms, the chat, and the gameplay. And boy am I too old for that shit. But what can you say? For our first +12 here on the mage, this went surprisingly well. And by saying that, I basically meant that I was surprised I didn't die yet. Multiple times. Yet the reality of +12 keys is hard. And sometimes sparkling in fairy dust, as this one tiny mistake ruined our so far perfect run. On the very last ad phase, 5% of the boss, this was horrible timing to say the least. And because the timer in here is super tight, while our damage wasn't insane, we decided to leave it be and save some mental, as they say. Very harsh and abrupt awakening for sure. So let's go Grimbator, cause what can go wrong, am I right? Quickly swapped out our healer because Felima arrived and we got another prot paladin, because of course we did. Tank distribution in +12 is stupid. Speaking of, let me introduce you to our lovely 3k Radar Fire Mage Eluria. Not once, but twice. What's also stupid is some pulls tanks tried to make work in a random puck group. You see, if we are talking the trash until the little dragon minigame, we deal with 3 important mobs that have the possibility to make life difficult. The lovely drag that killed Eluria twice with very little counterplay. Not once, but twice. And those 2 bulky husks of dragon boys that cast a big enrage for the entire trash pack. If you only play one of them, stuff is manageable and we are good. If you pull both of them, shit hits the fan quicker than Eluria dying to the dragon. Not once, but twice. However, you can easily just AoE rage dispel this with an evoker.
Wait a minute!
Unlucky. But speaking of difficult mobs, let's talk about the lava bender between Fabmaster Thong and Drave Slave owner Draga. These bitches hurt like crazy. As you all know by now, since I'm sure everybody died at least once to them, once they drop to 50%, they go into Ascendance mode and then pump out mad AoE till they die. The key would be to smack them until they reach about 60% and then nuke them as quick as hell. But because we all snipe for maximum damage, the healer just has to deal with it. However, from doing a few of these keys, I'd personally recommend to either don't play the double bender pack before the third boss, or to actually use cooldowns and maybe even Bloodlust. Because this is no joke. Honestly, we just didn't meet some of the criteria for this dungeon. Not the damage or speed we proceeded was the issue, but minor misplays, being into double Rage Lord, playing the Lava Bender or dying to the Elementals. We all had the tools to make it happen, but it just wasn't supposed to be. The cool thing about this was, whenever we had an 11 to upgrade again, we just made it a community key for all, so whoever wanted to join to stack some vaults. Ain't that something? So we continue with a plus 12 siege and, hey, you guessed it, different Pot Paladin pack. But this guy was diffy. Grade A gamer, certified machine, and one husky man. At least that's what I heard.
Anyway.
And while stuff was going great, my chat just complained about me being a bad gamer. Look man, I don't even know why that thing is open at all. I honestly don't even realize it unless I want to check the timer since it's buried behind the back interface. You guys do that too, or is it just me?
Only you.
We actually zoomed through this, played bosses clean, had one death that maybe was avoidable but also not too impactful. But that wasn't good enough for our tank. After dealing with Captain Morningwood, he simply pulled a bunch. Double Demolisher. Now, 2 of these bad boys would probably be extremely tricky to play. However, you can LOS their big stomp. So having 2 out of 5 that are ranges who don't take damage from this is manageable. Granted, I do need to pay more attention because I was able to tank every second of those little hits with alter time, but that's more of an ability min-maxing I need to get used to still. But don't you worry, your boy also died. I got charged 3 times in a row, which had me use a defensive plus shield every time. However, on the third, even though I topped myself with alter time, that thing ticked me down like crazy. I did have a potion up, which I didn't realize. However, I would have lived that entire thing, but then I got shot twice for 2 mil each in 0.1 seconds. We could do the math now if I lived that with a potion, but without actually doing the math, I'd say I wouldn't. Disregarding, we were still good on time. Like I said, no death we had was major impactful, so time to change that too. We had so much time for the last boss. All the time in fact. We played it nice, used defensives, but then something really unfortunate happened. You see, I had the debuff when we changed platform to the final stage. I didn't want to push through because I knew I'd die of that, so I tried to stay in range for healing. But our tank wanted to get through. After all, he needs to be close once the tentacle spawns. And then, when I was standing on this spot, you couldn't see the debuff anymore. And I legit got dispelled at the very moment he was in my range. So many unfortunate moments came together to ruin this one for your boy. Yet we still had about 4 minutes, still doable, so let's do it! 2-second overtime, man. That is so rough. Not gonna lie, this one stung so much because ultimately it was 2 seconds. One less death anywhere, one more DPS potion used, one more crit could have made a difference. Me not always hiding on the stomp and sending it much rather. So many situations where 2 seconds could have been saved. That's also how we ended our first evening of attempting this key range, so you best believe this was more than just humbling for most of us. Especially for Eluria. Not once, but twice. However, new day, new stream, same tank class, seriously, pot palace are everywhere. But because we are ready to game and ready to make it better, we once again prepped multiple keys for our enjoyment. With that, we were keen to make it better this time with another plus 12 mists. And you want to know how this was different to the other? Well, same boss, different problems. You see, apparently the kickable tank buster isn't the only problem a group can encounter here. It's also the little minigame. Whenever the boss reaches a certain percentage, 3 times throughout the entirety, she will split into 4 mirrors where you have to find the unique one. Exactly like the maze event beforehand. And to ensure we were all on the same page, usually the correct mirror gets pinged. Though the problem occurs whenever you ping the wrong one. We did manage to not kill the wrong one, which would have been a wipe by itself. However, because we had to move again, we just died because of the rest of the mechanics and simply couldn't recover. Speaking of not recovering, juicy 8-minute overtime. At least this is a certain progress, because on the first missed back, it was the tank's fault, which is something we can't control. With this, we know that it will kill us if we don't pay attention. So we were still ready to redeem ourselves, and our redemption shall come our way. But not before we find out some harsh truth about the most annoying twins in the game. Let's take a quick look here. This is the hitbox of the cone. One would say, it stops at some point, turns out it doesn't. And then let's check again. This is where Jeff is standing. That's the direction the cones are. Great game, man. Luckily this dungeon is a bit more gentle when it comes to the timer, so we didn't give up on this one yet. We went again, got through, quickly played the purple booger, and then we had 3 damn minutes with a bloodlust for the final boss. If nothing goes wrong, we put our first time plus 12 key in the bag. If nothing goes wrong. But because the gods wanted to give us another shot, we got mists again. This time, surely we focus up. And for a change of pace, we beefed up, literally. But being big also means you're a big target. And so I died before the first burn phase of the first boss, and we had no CR. Just to watch them do the entire thing in a 4-man party. I blame the cow for that, man. We did get it done, and by saying we, I mean everyone but me, so Mist Corner was the next point of interest. Yet finally, we got through the little asshole ferry on the first try and made our way towards the fat ass flashlight in an attempt to break the curse. And compared to the city of Threadsky, this was easily in time. However, the 25 score were not enough to achieve rank 1, because Bornwill, which is the rank 1 guy, also kept playing. He was at 28-11 by now. So we stepped foot into another 12 siege, and because this was a key we should have timed the last time, we simply collected what belonged to us. Another 29 score, but we still need more. Necrotic Wake was the place to be, and in this one, I apparently woke up for some pulls. Cosplaying as a professional load blower, just so I don't have any cooldowns for the upcoming Bloodlust pull. Yes, unofficial load blower? Premature load blower. Call it what you want. Though for the sake of the video's length, I can tell you this dungeon wasn't too spectacular. We had a handful of deaths, expected with so many casters and random damage going out, yet we still timed the entire thing with roughly 3 minutes on the clock for a whooping 47 rating, which now means we are on the very same score as the soon-to-be rank 2 mage.
You talking shit upon my shit, homeboy? You just a little punk ass, bitch, bitch.
Though I don't know why, cause it would be hilarious for the video if I'd be considered rank 1 instead of him with the same score, but I wasn't. So now it's already midnight and we've been doing keys for 7 hours already. So I asked for one more, Dawnbreaker. Very quickly I could tell that this one is considered one of the easier ones. Very generous timer, very avoidable damage patterns, and also very scripted heal checks. This was legit the first run I felt good, and I know you see a certain pattern in overall damage, and yeah, if I compare myself to Eluria, I'm flipping ass, dude. My cooldown usage is ass, my rotation is ass, my spell prio is ass, granted my gear is also worse, but I'd like to believe that a better player with my gear would be able to get closer to Eluria. A lot closer. Granted, he does have 7 more item level overall, which in this specific area mostly means he also rocks a lot biz items. And the biggest difference might be the Spymaster. But with me dying to stupid things so often, Spymaster wouldn't do much either. However, I can say, Fire is so much fun. I really recommend it for any one of you that isn't sure on what to play for the remaining season or even season 2. I'm currently playing a build that is all about combust resets, which will go crazy in the next season due to the new tier set of Fire Mage, since that is also just keeps on reducing combust cooldown. My final thoughts go out to everyone that will call me boosted because, well, rightfully so, as my overall damage contribution and me dirt napping throughout entire boss fights isn't really something to argue against. However, plus 12s is a new step for me and a new step to deal with the incoming damage. We all gotta learn that at some point, and keep in mind, at times there's even a few days in a row where I don't even log on. So take this achievement to be rank 1 with not only 2900 score with a pinch of salt. With that being said, be sure I put that into my Twitch bio ASAP, and you know what they say. Once a rank 1, always rank 1. Actually not rank 1 anymore currently, but who cares, I got the screenshot.